This is a two-part tutorial on motion tracking in Blender. The first step is going into the video editing workspace and turning your video file into a image sequence. To do this, you need to go to where you saved your video file and import it to Blender. After you've done this, you need to shorten the timeline to the same length as your video and delete the audio if you need to. Once you have done this, you need to export your video out as an image sequence and turn the compression all the way down. Blender has already set the frame rate to match your video, so you just choose a file location and render the video out. Once you have rendered out the image sequence, make a new file and go to the movie clip editor and import the image sequence. Now what you need to do is set up your export settings for rendering. Set your frame rate to what it was originally, and instead of PNG, choose FFM video peg and set it to MP4. Now to get into the tracking, click Set Scene Frames to set the scene frames and prefetch to bake your frames into memory. Now you can control click to add a tracker or click add and click to add a tracker. Now you need to choose which tracking preset works for your video. In my case, I move around so it's location, I rotate the camera a little bit so it's rotation, and I move back so it's scale. You need to set the correlation to 0.9, and that's basically the threshold of which the tracker needs to make or it will stop tracking. So you set the tracker down, you hit Alt S to get the search area up, and you can move it around or scale it up. If you hit Alt right arrow, it will move a few frames over, and if you hit Control T, it will track forwards all the way. If it makes it to the end, hit Control L and it will lock the tracker in place. And you're going to need to do this to every single marker you have. Once you have tracked all your markers, go to the Solve menu, and if you have a tripod, click Tripod. If you don't, leave it unchecked. Click the keyframe to automatically select the keyframes. Hit focal length K1 and K2 and solve the camera motion. And the solve error should be under 1. Now to add this to a 3D scene, you need to click and drag up a new window and make it the 3D workspace. Hit 0 to go to your camera and click Set Up Tracking Scene. click the middle tracker to set it as your origin, or whatever tracker to be in the middle. Click 3 trackers and hit floor to make it the floor, and then re-click the origin so it will get reset. Click the origin and another tracker, and you can set the scale. The higher the number, the smaller the object will get. Now to fix the orientation, you need to click on the leftmost tracker and hit set x-axis so the cube will be flush with the x-axis. You can do the same thing with the y-axis, just choose one of the top trackers or the bottom trackers. Now get rid of the movie clip editor so you can view the animation. Now the cube is tracked. If we go into rendered view and cycles, turn on transparent under film, the shadow catcher will go transparent, but there is no shadow. We will fix this in a minute. Move the cube up on the z-axis by 1 so it's sitting on the table. If you want to use more meshes than the default ones, there is an add-on called Extra Meshes you can choose, and it adds more meshes. To install it, hit Edit Preferences and type in Extra Meshes and enable the add-on. I'm gonna add in the knot, but you can choose whichever one you want. But for this tutorial, I'm just gonna stick with the cube. Now to fix the shadows. Select the shadow catcher and drag it to the foreground, and the shadows will appear. And you don't have to, but I'm just deleting the background. This is the end of the first part of the tutorial. In the second part, I will be showing how to remove the markers and rendering the video.